So, I'm 22. I turned 22 a couple of weeks ago, and my mother just told me to make a will. Hello everyone, I'm Tessellating Hexagons, back with some more Spyro Year of the Dragon, Spyro 3, Spyro Yiff on the dance floor, whichever best tickles your masculine, feminine, or otherwise identifying pickle. Your soul pickle. This is Fireworks Factory, the most iconic level in the game, also technically one of the most broken, also potentially one of the worst, but hey, look, it is a certain familiar friend who just suplexed an entire enemy. Hey!
Oh, hello! It's good to see you again, Spyro. That naughty sorceress has stolen the professor's rocket plans, and I'm on a secret mission to find them. Handel was supposed to meet me here, but I can't find him anywhere. Maybe you could help.
Maybe I can. So, yep, it's the return of Handel and Greta. Because they needed another cameo. Well, I'm not going to complain. So, as I said, cough, this level is a little bit broken. Now, these enemies, most of the time, like 99% of the time, you have to charge them. You can flame them, but they'll just flip out of the way, unless they collide with something else, in which case you'll be able to flame them, as I just did. But most of the time, they'll just flip backwards, unless they collide with the wall. Now, you might also notice that they're not really yielding gems, because they come out of enemy spawners. There are enemy spawners in this level. I just got hit in the face with a bullet, in case you couldn't tell. Now, the reason why I say that this level is just a little bit broken is because of this game's dynamic difficulty, which I've discussed at length before. This game sort of detects how well you're doing and adjusts the difficulty accordingly. It can go I don't know how high or how low it goes. I know it goes in increments. I don't know how many increments there are. Also, there's the secret alcove. We found Noodles the Dragon, because that's the name. Wee. The problem with this level in particular is, unless you're at the perfectly neutral, level of luck, you could call it, you're gonna get some weird things happening. If you've been doing well at the game so far, then the dynamic difficulty will increase the difficulty of the level, so it'll make it harder. All that means is there'll be more enemies. That unfortunately means there are more gems. You can get, I believe, up to 2 more than the maximum number of gems in this level. So that's fun. Conversely, if you've been doing poorly at the game up to this point, and you come into this level, then you'll be in easy mode, and it'll spawn fewer enemies. Which means that you will be missing gems. There was I think I killed I was going to get some health back, but there's not over here. So, this level isn't really coded that brilliantly. Now, I believe this will have been addressed in the greatest hits release of the game. These enemies, much like the ones from Dark Hollow in the first game, you need to attack them from the rear. Now, one thing that I didn't even observe in the last episode, but I'd rather like to point out, is submarine is one of the few naturally occurring words that, much like San Marino, if you sentence mix it, one of the most natural things to do with it is to turn it into Sasmarir. So, there you go. That's what San Marino has in common with a submarine. Take a moment there to check if the right music was playing, because this level shouldn't be one of the ones that's affected by the music glitch. Also, these enemies turn around very quickly when you get close to them. There are 2 ways of killing them. As I said, first main method is to get around behind them, but also, as you may notice, there are just rockets just kind of hanging around, chilling on the floor, and no amount of full body armor can negotiate an entire rocket up the arse. So, I mean, it doesn't really help that they have a barrel of explosives strapped to their back anyway, but hey. Now, as I've observed, this level is massively iconic, predominantly because it's on the title screen of the game for some reason. I don't know why, it just is. I don't know why Skelos Badlands is on the title screen of the previous game, it just is. We don't question these things. So you might wonder, well, Tess, what is there to not like about this level? It's got a really cool kind of Japanese, or at the very least kung fu film aesthetic, maybe Chinese. I'm not an expert on that sort of stuff, but hang on a minute. Okay, also right, I'm trying to get my memories in order. Somewhere around here there is an alcove in the wall that I think you can't break open. No matter what you do, you can't break it open, and it contains like 3 extra lives, I want to say, and it's just not programmed in to work. I vaguely remember something like that happening. Now this is a room similar to Dark Passage, not Dark Hollow, not Dark Passage, from the first game, just wait for the guy to face the other way, get up behind and flame that ass, and then he runs and then he explodes because sexual dimorphism in Rhinox. You can see where the ninjas are because of the ceiling, and you can flame them when they're in their descending animation, because obviously they're too busy animating one way to be able to do their dodging animation. So, yeah, you might well wonder, well, Tess, this is a really cool, really iconic, really infamous level. So, what is there to not like? Well, as I said, this is the level that has that fucking animal buddy mission, which mercifully we can't do yet, and I don't intend to do it for a hot while. By the way, Greta, how are your beans?
It looks like you'll have to use this cannon to get across here. Simply climb aboard. As for me, I just have to free my mind.
Just free your mind. Just free. I don't understand Hansel and Greta. Like, obviously Hansel and Gretel, but beyond that, I don't know why everything. But yeah, I intend to put off 100%ing this level for as long as I can, because the Animal Buddy mission here is an homage to Doom, and that in itself, there's nothing wrong with that. I've never really been a fan of Doom as a series. Like, obviously I understand its place in medical gaming history, not medical history. That's an enemy spawner, by the way. But it's never been something I'm a fan of. I won't say it's implemented poorly in this game, but it isn't fun, and it is difficult. So also, you can sort of see they're clinging onto the ceiling. I see you, just sort of doing the stuck-on-the-ceiling version of T-posing, like, unanimated, with no animations loaded, just standing there, clinging onto the ceiling. Not even technically standing. Ah, that reminds me of a story. I was thinking of Guy standing, but I don't know how these respawn, they just kind of reappear. Might remember them from the gulp fight from the previous game, but I'm getting off topic. So, there's a guy called Guy Standing, there's a picture on Wikipedia of Guy Standing sitting. And that has nothing to do with what I'm remembering here. What I am remembering is, in Finland's national final for Eurovision a couple of years ago, there was a song by, an artist called Clarissa, featuring a guy called Josh Standing. But the problem is, the way they actually said their names when, oh, next up is this song by so-and-so. The way they announced that, they really made it sound like they thought that their names were Josh Standing and Clarissa featuring. No. Okay, we have 2 missions that we can go off and do. I don't know where the nearest rocket is, so I'm just going to go and grab the one that's over here so we can burst open that burp. And by that I mean lock. See, I don't like calling them lockboxes, because that's not really a word in British English. But then what would you call these? Just reinforced chests. But then that just makes me think of, like, I don't know, a woman in a suit of armor, because, well, I mean, men have chests too, but still. Now here's a sequence. Look, there's a ninja. We don't need to worry about it, because Greta's got it covered.
It looks like the sorceress has already used the plans to build her own rocket. We have to destroy it. Just follow me.
Well, we don't really have to, because you're just gonna... And just Matrix, because of course... She even spawns gems for us, because why the flalf not? We can just go and get those gems. And then boop! And we can go down there now, and there was an egg attached to the... See, that's a firework. I mean, yeah, we want rocket plans, but that's not the rocket we had in mind. Also, that's a very large egg that's going to mysteriously shrink when we collect it, because that's just how eggs work. Also, that button is a part of the level geometry that she pressed.
Hey, look what was in the rocket. They must have been trying to put it into orbit.
Why would you put an egg into orbit? Is this the one that fell down there, or is this a different egg? That is a bit unclear, I don't actually remember. That button, as I said...
If you see Handel, tell him I've gone back to Evening Lake to finish work on the professor's rocket.
So we still don't know why it's a rocket, why that's just the natural level progression, but yeah, this button is just here now. I believe if you leave the level and come back, the button is unpressed, but it no longer does anything. And because we've got warped across this room, we need to go back to collect these gems. Oh, now, as usual, I will show you the way of glitching into the Animal Buddy section early, because you can do that in all of them. This one, I would say, is arguably the easiest to glitch into. The mission itself is the hardest. Spyro. And we don't even know what the name of the monkey is, we just know our next Animal Buddy is a monkey. Now, basically, when you're falling into this hole, just try to fly above where, like, glide to the above of where the doorway is, and you should glitch through. I'll show it on screen if I can get it to work, there's no reason why it shouldn't work. And for now, that makes it sound like I'm about to end the episode. Where should I begin? Well, we saw down here that an egg fell and made this cannon work. That's our back cut, or shortcut back to the end of the level. And yes, the egg that fell was, in fact, the egg we've collected. Now, you can go and defeat these enemies now. They still don't give you anything, but they'll stop respawning because we've destroyed the spawners. So, I'm still debating what to do next, because the problem with this level is it can be a bit demanding in terms of health. Like, it is a bit unforgiving, especially in the Animal Buddy section. I hate calling them Animal Buddies, because this isn't Donkey Kong. I've never been a fan of the Donkey Kong Country franchise. Like, I don't hate it, but I've never been a particular fan of it. But, look at this. Look, it's a power-up gate, but it looks like one thing, but it's something else. Hi, Handle.
Uh-oh. You'll have to use this combo power-up to take out these fire dragons. It will allow you to super fly and super flame at the same time.
So yeah, it's a very understated combination power-up, and the only one in the game, I believe. So, maybe it's one of two. So here's the thing. I've mentioned in the past, in this game, that every homeworld has a mini-boss. This is the mini-boss of Evening Lake. There's 2 dragons, and, they regenerate health over time, so focus your fire on one for as long as you can. As you can see, they get smaller and thus faster. They work kind of like the submarines from Lost Fleet, but, not. Also, that reminds me, since I'm here, I should probably mention that once we see that cutscene that we saw at the end of the last episode where Hunter falls down a hole, Hunter no longer exists within the game world. Like, if there is a mission that relies on Hunter existing, whether that's the skateboarding mission in Lost Fleet, or even any skateboarding mission for that matter, including the ones in Sunny Villa, Enchanted Towers, you cannot do those at this point in the game. I don't remember what triggers Hunter to fall into that pitfall trap, but like it's not, like, it is there on the Evening Lake map, but it's out of bounds in such a way that you can't access it. Also, the dragons do have to fight back after a while. Hunter stops existing in the game world. You can't do any missions attached to Hunter. You can't do it. I don't remember what triggers it, so it could be that he only appears once you're done with him. I don't think that's the case. Also, be grateful that you have just infinite combo power-up at the moment, because... And yeah, I'm incidentally hitting the purple one, but I'm trying to aim for the orange, and... As you can see, he is regenerating. I may have to speed this up, because what you're seeing is basically what you get for this mission. You just need to have a little patience and be not bad. That's the first one down anyway, and the purple one is surprisingly a really good shot, and oh, that was just in time for me to get an extra life from an fodder. Sometimes the fodder will just give you extra lives. I feel like I've mentioned that before. Anyway, I believe once a dragon is dead, it stays dead. I just love how they die before they can just become this floating face. Good, Spyro, that's clearly what I want you to do. I do believe the fodder does respawn over time, so that's fine. Also, why are these dragons bad, but Spyro is good? Wow! Really good shot, apparently. Eat my knees, sir.
Out of the molten lava.
I don't remember Handel having the, I don't want to call it a speech defect, because, like, that might be considered offensive, even though, like, that's what it would have been called back in the day, so I don't know what the term is, but he has it now and he didn't before. So now we're up to 100 eggs, and we're still only, like, I don't know, 60, like, barely 70% of the way done with the game. So before we leave, obviously we need to go back and get all the gems here, and that's... See, that's kind of it. That's the mid-boss of Evening Lake, so to speak. It's a bit different from the ones we've faced so far, because, like, Bluto in Seashell Shore was not difficult, but, like, you sort of do need to have your wits about you, and you can go balls to the wall with the ammunition and, you know... Camera, thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry, what was that sequence? So, yeah, you can go hard with Bluto. It rewards skill and patience in equal measure. The second homeworld, why am I having a total mind blank on what the second homeworld's mid-boss is? Oh, right, the really easy wizard. It's a really easy wizard. And then this, as I said, requires skill, but mostly patience, because, like, as long as you keep the pressure on one of the dragons and, like, kill it to death, you'll be fine. And, okay, are we done in here? Sparks, show me the way. Oh, there is more. It's this basket here. I'm not sure. I'm trying to say I'm not sure. I don't know how I feel about the combination power-up here, because the gate itself doesn't have both icons on it like it did in the previous game. But at the same time, it doesn't have a timer on it, so I don't know how to feel. But you can't carry it between areas. So it is a permanent thing, but just only for that sub-area, and then it's deactivated when you leave. I should probably grab a restock of health before I go any further. Also, Sparks, there are more gems out here, apparently. I wonder which version of the level I'm in. Well, version isn't really the right way of putting it. I wonder if I'm in an iteration of life in general that has all the gems spawned in, or more or fewer. Because there are gems in the animal body section. So we're not going to be 100% done here for quite some time, because I tend to put that off as long as possible. There are also gems in there. There's down. There's gems to the down. One thing at a time. We have a side area first, and another instance of Handel, I believe. He's just everywhere. So it's kind of similar to, there's an egg. Similar to Lost Fleet in that once you can beat the level, there's only residents inside areas from then on. And even then, he's not even native to here.
I think I could see an egg behind you, but it's out of reach. You'll have to take the long way round through all these Wynocks to get to it.
Wynock! So this isn't, like, this looks intimidating, but it's really not that bad. Are you gonna... Wow, I'm close enough that that triggers your attacking animation. How about you don't? Because we kind of need to kill all of you just to get your ass gems, the gems from your anus specifically. Ninjas. I would make some reference to, I don't know, Ultimate Ninja Warrior, but is that even what it's called in this country? I know we have Ninja Warrior, I just don't remember if we have a different name for it, because, like, what Americans call Wipeout, we call Total Wipeout, because we're, like, totally radical, gnarly Mygungas like that. And, yes, those, Sparks, thank you. Sparks, boop. The explosion of those Rhinox when they explode does damage you, because explosions are explosions, funnily enough. Everyone just charge your asses forwards. You must have at least a bit of care when dealing with the rocket launcher ones, because, as I demonstrated earlier in this very episode, it is kind of easy to charge into them as they're firing, so you can take damage while you're killing them. It's sort of a mutually assured destruction kind of thing, where really you may as well just be cautious and have cares. Multiple cares. Care NLM, because clearly this is an appropriate time to reference Petscop. Why? Okay, why? Shot deviation. So, why was I thinking of Jazzpunk when clearly it's because Petscop is also a strange game that is one word long, but it sounds like a compound. But what is a Scop? Skopjefest is a music festival held in the capital of the former Yugoslav Republic of North Upper Macedonia. It's one of those countries where people aren't fond of the name, and okay, I mention this because... Bouncing bomb. Because at the time of recording, I just recently did a Patreon video about the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, to use its official name. And in doing Patreon videos, patreon.com/Tessellating, by the way, I actually end up learning a lot for myself, because I do present it like I'm an expert on the subject, and in some regards I am. But when it comes to, like, geography and, like, geopolitical history, like, geography itself, I'm fine, because I learned that through Eurovision. But, like, geopolitical history? I'm learning so much. Like, I didn't know what the Velvet Divorce was until I did videos about the Czech Republic and Slovakia. I didn't know where Vojvodina was until I did a video about the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, which I specified just because that's the only ex-Yugoslav country that I've actually done a video on so far, and that was very recent at the time of recording. Because this is, like, a little while later on the same day as the previous episode. Because with both this and Wario Land, which I'm also Let's Playing at the moment, in case you're not watching both series concurrently, like, the episode before this, I took, like, a 1-episode break for both series, and I kind of want to get a backlog of episodes so that doesn't happen again. And hey, look, we're at the end of this area again. Again? I mean, the end is kind of the beginning, so I guess I'll allow that flirtencular slip-up Flirtancular. Narvacular drop. Hang on, is it Narvacular or Narbacular? I don't remember. There's a vaguely fantasy-like game that's very broken, and it was the inspiration of Portal, and very nice, Bucktooth Sam. And once again, there are no further gems to be had here. Do you have anything to add, Handel?
Watch out for that lava. It looks super hot.
I mean, you fished an egg out of it at some point, so you can shut your crawl. Right, so, where are my gems at? They're down there, apparently. Are they really, though? Or am I just... Is it just that there? Is that the only gem I missed? Yeah, we're done here. We have finished in Fireworks Factory for the moment. We'll be coming back later. It will be god-awful. I'm not looking forward to it. And I don't know how long this episode's going to be, because, like... I've been recording for 22.5 minutes, yeah. But some of that will be cut out and sped up because I was fighting the Dargans. So at the very least, we'll head back up here, bounce out of the cannon while we're in the cannon. I'm not sure if that can be a thing you can do by glitching. Like, if you can fall out of the cannon before it fires you, I don't know what that would do. Ugh. Anyway, I'll check the atlas real quick, fast, like, and a spoozle. So yes, you're doomed. It's a pun because it's based on doom. Destroy the rocket. And I love that the atlas does that. So, for the moment, we're done in Fireworks Factory. I don't look forward to coming back. Oh, we have another cutscene. A good way to end the episode. An apology and lunch. I just had lunch myself, so good timing.
Hello, I thought you might be hungry.
Thanks. Did you bring any chips?
I'm sorry this happened, but I tried to warn you.
I had to help Spyro rescue the eggs.
You just don't understand. If we don't bring dragons back to this world soon, all our magic will be lost.
The dragons used to live here?
Yes. This was their original home. But a long, long time ago, the sorceress banished them to the other side of the world. She didn't realize the dragons were the source of all our magic.
Maybe I could convince the dragons to come back, if you let me go.
I'm sorry, I can't.